I will tell you guys, Sinclair is literally, after Patient Now, they're my second work family. And I love them dearly, and I am just so grateful to be here at, I think it's a fourth Beauty Boss. So, 15 minutes, we're gonna power through with a lot of awesome information. As Kara mentioned, my name's Audrey Neff. I'm the Director of Marketing for the Patient Now portfolio. We're going to be talking about, as Kara kind of touched on already, the importance of the millennial consumer market in aesthetic medicine, and to just set the stage a little bit, and I feel like this is, I hope I'm not walking in front of all you guys, I'll try to stay in the middle. This generation, this consumer market is truly what is going to fuel the global growth of this industry, and we're going to be talking about specifically why that is. All right, so really quickly, I love data, and I want us to just kind of put into perspective what's going on in this industry. It's valuable for all of us to know, okay? So 2022 was around, let's say, $18 billion global industry in aesthetic medicine. It's continuing to grow. Med spa market, specifically, expected to reach $63.4 billion by 2032. Huge. Double-digit growth, and it's not slowing down for any of us, which is why it's such an exciting time for everybody who is in this room to be a part of this industry. Reasons why this industry will continue to grow. We have low market penetration. People say it's saturated. It's not even close to saturation. We'll go into a couple of statistics why. Millennial opportunity, this is really what we're going to focus on. Obviously, innovation, resiliency. Nothing's recession-proof. It is recession-resilient, absolutely, if you do the right things from the business standpoint in your practice. And investment community is trickling in as well, which we're seeing a lot of. So, aesthetic treatments are elective, which means the modern millennial consumer has a what? Come on, you guys. What do they have? Choice, yes. What do they have the choice between when they're researching aesthetic providers? I'm going to ask questions, even though I only have 15 minutes. Sorry, you guys are going to hate me. What do they have the choice between? You guys, it's Friday. We're so excited to be here. What was that? To do it or not. What kind of device? What treatment? What provider? Are they going to spend the money with you or go somewhere else or not spend the money? Right? All of these things are so critical. And how do we differentiate our practice, right? It's becoming a competitive market, yes. How do we stand out? Consumer awareness, demand up, millennial generation. Okay, so this is why the millennial generation is so critical. So this was a research paper I wrote last year that was peer-reviewed and published in the Plastic and Aesthetic Nursing Journal. If anyone wants it, I'll send it to you, but it's very lengthy. I wouldn't want to read it. So long story short, I'm not going to read all these bullet points, but Gen X boomers, Gen X specifically has the most market share right now, but they're not increasing market share, it's decreasing. Millennials are the only demographic with full purchasing power. Gen Z is great, but Gen Z doesn't have full purchasing power. They start at 10 years old. A 10-year-old's not getting aesthetic treatments, right? So millennials have full purchasing power, and they're the only generation expected to pick up market share, which is why it is ever so critical that we have a strategy in place of how we are going to connect with them, build trust with them, retain them in our practice for the entire longevity of their aesthetic treatment journey, let's say. So who are they? Because now we're probably like, okay, well, what is millennials? Who are they? 27 to 42. How many of us are millennials? Okay, there's definitely more millennials in this room. How many of us are millennials? Yes, so many of us. We're still holding on, right? Yay! 27 to 42, people assume it's like this super young age. It's not, it's 27 to 42. A lot of us, maybe we didn't even realize we were millennials, but we are, and let's embrace it. And I know that there's a lot of negative stigmas with them, like, you know, do you guys remember that thing about like the avocado toast? Like, millennials are never gonna be able to buy a house because they're spending all their money on avocado toast. I'm like, this literally makes no sense. Like, what was that thing? It was going viral. I'm like, I don't even know the last time I ate avocado toast, and I have a mortgage. Anyways, 27 to 42, that was a weird one. And 72 million is the market size as well. So why are we talking about millennials? Where is the timer? Okay, in the back. Prevention versus correction. They're hyper-focused on preventative versus corrective, right? They're coming in, now older, obviously they're going to be corrective in nature, but they're coming into the market at a younger rate, starting injectables early, starting energy-based devices earlier, all of these things, right? They have huge lifetime value. And when we talk about lifetime value is, let's say, over the next 5 years, 7 years, what is a millennial patient going to spend with your practice? let's say it's 50K, which sounds like a lot of money, but if you were to factor in annual injectables, let's say monthly facials, medical grade skincare, just basic stuff, being conservative with numbers, it could easily be 50K in 5 years, 7 years, whatever it may be. Okay, inside the medical aesthetic industry, we talked about this almost $18 billion global industry, less than, believe it or not, less than 7.5% of the total addressable market in aesthetics has had an injectable. Less than 1.25% has had some type of skin tightening treatment. Isn't that crazy? So people say it's saturated, it's saturated. It's not even close to saturation. It's a wide open market. It's so exciting for all of us to be in this industry. Like, there is so much room for growth. So what do millennials value? How can we cater to their unique nuances? Okay, so the reason I wanted to actually, if we go back to this slide, so less than 10% of the market has been penetrated in terms of facial injectables, and this is data from Allergan. And if millennials are the largest consumer group within that total addressable market, expected to gain market share, we have to have a strategy around how we're going to connect with them. Because if we don't, we're going to get left in the dust 5 years from now. And they are a unique generation. So what do they value? Okay, so these are the core 5 strategies, or core 5 values. Convenience, choices, experiences, authenticity, relatability. And these are the core 4 strategies of success. We're gonna go through these at a high level. This could easily be a 6-hour presentation. So just to set the stage with connectivity, tomorrow I'm giving a talk on Instagram. We'll cover a lot of stuff around social media and building trust with millennials in that segment. Optimizing the follow-up. We're not gonna touch on this today, but long story short, you guys, how many of you guys follow up with people who call your practice? 5 people. How many of you guys are okay saying I don't have a really good strategy in place to follow up? Nobody, okay, we're shy. So with millennials specifically, they do their due diligence and they shop around, right? They're gonna call multiple providers. Big thing here is, because we're not gonna touch on this today, but I wanna touch on it briefly, if you will, is if you don't follow up with them, or you don't have a process, a bulletproof process, I would say, in place in your practice, it's a lost revenue opportunity. Because let's say, just contact information. I can't tell you guys how often I mystery shop practices and people don't get my contact info. And they could be the nicest person in the whole world. But because they didn't get my contact info to follow up with me, let's say practice A doesn't do that. Practice B gets it. They follow up with me. When I'm ready to go in for a consultation, where do I go? I go to practice B. And they may have been a worse injector, a worse provider, a worse practice. But going back to that first initial phone call, they had the right processes in place to follow up with me. So just some things for all of us to keep in mind. Okay, so in this industry, there's actually only 2 ways you can acquire a new millennial patient. The first is you have a new entrance into the market. So this would mean that they've never had any type of aesthetic treatment in their life, and you capture them before the competition captures them. And the second way is you actually steal them. It's true, though. So you steal them from practice down the road, person sitting next to you, whoever it is. And competition is a good thing, you guys. People get so consumed in the word competition. Let's think of it as a positive. Competition is a good thing for all of us. Healthy industry. All right, so this was a cosmetic consumer analysis we conducted with Google on the RX photo side of our business. And long story short, the 2 factors that pretty much at the end of the day affect patient conversion from the millennial standpoint, we surveyed over 1,000 millennial consumers researching aesthetic treatments online, before and after photos and reviews. And I want us to look, 12.2% information about the practice. Is that information critical? Yes. Do you need to credential your practice and your providers and your mission and your vision and all of these incredible things? Yes. But you can't miss the mark on 2 very simple fixes, I will say, in most aesthetic practices when it comes to building trust with millennials. Photos of complete strangers, people they don't know, and reviews from complete strangers, people they don't even know. So, in the eyes of a millennial, and this is just true, you're only as good as Google says you are. How many of us read reviews? All of us read reviews. What I want to focus on here, 94% of millennials have avoided a practice due to a bad review. Okay, and this seems like a negative. We're going to turn it into a positive. How many of us have had a negative review? Some of us. How many of us have never had a negative review? Okay, it's going to happen one day. It's true. Whether it's a crazy patient, and there's plenty of those in this industry, or maybe it was, we're all only human, right? Maybe it was the fault of the practice. We screwed up. Whatever it is, it's going to happen. It's very inevitable that you're going to have 5.0 stars forever. So how do we combat that? So statistics-wise, for every one negative review, you need at least 17 positive. At least, okay? At least 17. And we're going to go into 2 strategies. What number of reviews should you strive for? And everyone can look at your Google business profile. Just Google your practice and see how many Google reviews you have. And the reason that this is so critical is because our website's great. Do you need them? Yes. But since the majority of us are local businesses, consumers, millennials specifically, are going to land on your Google business profile before they move to your site. And they're going to read reviews, just like all of us do. We all read reviews. And in medical aesthetics, you couldn't pay me to go to a practice if I didn't, first of all, look at photos and read the provider's reviews. No way. Millennials care about that. Should be current and consistent. In terms of number of reviews, triple digits from consumer perception standpoint, that's going to be what you would want your first goal to be. So 100 should be the first goal. After that, don't be like, okay, I'm done, I can throw in the towel. No, keep going. And they should be current and consistent, right? If I see the last review was 6 months ago, to me, like, that's sketchy. And that's how millennials will view it, right? Is this practice even in business anymore? So current, consistent, aim for triple digits. 4.8 or above is what I would strive for. I think if you're a 4.6 minimum, you're okay. So really quickly, 2 tactics to improve your review strategy. And obviously I have, 3 minutes. So brain and brawn. So brain would be having some type of technology in place to automate review solicitations, right? Text, email, thank you for coming into our practice, click the link below to review us on Google, whatever it may be. So you need technology. Technology is scalable, it improves efficiency. And brawn. Brawn is where most practices fail, I would say, is just having a talk track and training in place. How are we going to ask for the reviews? When are we going to ask for them? So Susan just completed her treatment series, and she looks phenomenal. Her skin is glowing. She's on cloud 9. Susan, oh my gosh, it's been so great to treat you. Your skin looks freaking phenomenal. Just so you know, in the next hour or 2, day or 2, you're going to be receiving an email, a text from our practice asking you to review us on Google. As you can imagine, our patients and the results we achieve for them are the lifeblood of our clinic. It would mean the world to us if you would review us. If you ask in a genuine and authentic way, and then you make it as easy as possible to leave the review, will a millennial consumer do that? Who would say yes? Yes. Are there people out there that'll just never leave a review? Sure. But the majority of people will. You just have to have that process in place. Before and after photos, I'm not going to go a ton into this, long story short. The big thing I see here is consistency. Take photos, make sure the angles are consistent, the background is consistent, the lighting is consistent. Take photos at every single visit. Have a separate room or designated areas in your practice where you're going to take all your photos to ensure consistency, limit variables for differences and things like that. Because your photos speak volumes. If you don't take photos, how is anyone going to know? How is a millennial going to know that you create these incredible results for your patients? So photos has to be a priority. And it's an easy fix and a cheap fix, honestly. Okay, reasons millennials leave a practice. It's due to the experience. Long story short, create the best. We would all agree, we're in a relationship-driven industry, right? Relationships are the lifeblood of our practice. Millennials will also pay more if they trust in the provider will give them a better experience. Easy thing that I love is when I go in and see my provider, obviously I'm good friends with her, but I would recommend everyone how many of you guys keep personal notes in your EMR of all your patients? If you don't, do it. It takes 2 seconds out of your day after you saw Susan. Susan's planning her wedding, her mom just moved near her, whatever it is, and then you go back in, you don't remember Susan, it's okay, she's not gonna know that. Oh my gosh, Susan, it's so great to see you. How is your mom? How is all these little things that you can do that take an extra 20 seconds of time. And then we also have to have a unique selling proposition, right? So what is going to make us different? And at the end of the day, who do millennials influence? Parents, partners, peers. They're a highly influential generation. So people will forget what they said, what anyone said. I don't remember what people say. People will forget. I talk to so many people, right? But people will always remember how you made them feel, right? And with millennials, we remember that. So thank you guys so much. I know it was short, but hopefully it was helpful on some level to some of you guys.